Okay, so today we're going to work on card fueling. And I already have one imported, but we're going to go ahead and delete those and then re-import again. Um, go ahead and go into, Luann, are you driving or is Jimmy driving?
Jimmy's driving. I'm watching carefully.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the carb fueling menu. And then we're going to go through just mostly the process for today, just so you can see how it all comes in, and then some of the totals and how you guys can see like the transaction where you guys normally go in to enter transactions when you bring up our record. So if you go into the activity section and click the transaction tab for me. All processes is essentially in this screen. So this is where you would go to import. This is where you go to batch delete, recalculate, batch post. It all just takes you to the screen where you need to go. So this right here is your June transactions that you guys imported on July 1st. So what we're going to do is I tried posting them, but I'm missing some GL accounts. But I want you guys to experience the errors and what I would do if it was me, so that way as far as like a lot of this card fueling stuff, it just keeps going. But we're going to experience errors together and try and figure out how to fix it, so that way you know what to do if it comes in, because I think the hardest part of card fueling is when you import and there's errors is how to fix them, so that way you can get through it in batch post. So I'm going to have you go ahead and click batch delete for me. And what this is going to do is you can do like one transaction at a time or between records, or you can just do it for a series of transaction dates. So what this is going to do is only delete what's currently unposted. So go ahead and click delete for me. And this is saying, since I left it all blank, it's all records. I've already posted one just to see what happened. So one record posted, but I was trying to do a batch post of 380 records, and one of those has an issue. So that's what I'm trying to determine. But you and I will go through that process of posting certain ones and then get to the final record that's causing the problem. So now go ahead and close this. And go ahead and minimize this screen for me. And I'm going to start off with a few things that kind of changed in i21. You guys remember that card management item price adjustment screen? So where you would set up a new customer, set up a card, and then you would put in there the product code and whether it should be 5 cents off or 10 cents off or 2 cents off. Does that sound familiar in Origin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what I want you to do is go into card accounts for me under the maintenance section. So card accounts is where you would go to set up a new account and then all the cards that are tied to that account. So for the purposes of checking this today, I want you to select the account WACCAM. Okay, and open that for me. Okay, so now in i21, what you do is first you create the new account, and that's just the main bill to customer, no different than how you did it in Origin where you created an account. But rather than going into the card maintenance screen to set up the new cards, you would just, in i21, you go to the cards tab and then you click add. So go ahead and click add for me here. We're not really going to add a card, but just so you can see the screen. So there are some required fields, but you don't need to fill anything out. So we've already converted the cards accounts over from Origin. So I'm going to have you close this and then open one of the cards so you can kind of see what setup is required. So in this case, it's really just the network ID, the card number, and then the card description. And obviously, if the card is active, that will default to yes. And if the card is inactive in the future, you would just go back in here and uncheck that card active. And it looks like you stored the PIN number as well. So you don't have to fill everything out. So the easiest part about I21, I think, is since we converted your data over, we kind of picked what's the most crucial. But then if in I21 we made, like, let's say in the future, add more fields and we're making making it as a requirement, you'll just have to, it'll tell you an error, like a red box around it if it doesn't let you save. So let's go ahead and close this.
How about the vehicle number that we set up
Yep.
recently in Origin? Is that in this section also?
Not, it will be. So go ahead and close this. It'll be in the account section. Yep. There should be a vehicle tab. So if you go over to vehicles,
Oh, I see now.
oh, that's okay. So in here, what you would do is just click add.
Mm-hmm.
And then it looks like all we're asking for is the vehicle number.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's right.
So that'll convert over. We added vehicles yesterday.
Okay.
Origin.
Okay. So then it will convert over when we go live. So in this scenario, we can get past the vehicle number in I21 by just recalculating it, just because we didn't make it a requirement before. So we can still get past it. So for today, we don't need to worry about that piece. So go ahead and sorry, I wanted to show you the pricing. So open up this customer again for me. And then go to the details tab. So you see off to the right side, in Origin, we had started the whole pricing profile, and that was to replace the price adjustment. So if you scooch over to the right side under the pricing section, do you see where it says local price profile ID?
Mm-hmm.
And right now it's set to Wacom. That's a specific record written for this customer, because when I was looking at your database, it looks like they didn't have like a generic, they're always 3 cents or they're always 5 cents. It depends on what product they're buying. So go ahead and click the down arrow under that local price profile ID so you can see the others that I've set up. Oh, sorry, the local price profile. Since you guys are not network, that would be the one you would be using. So in this case, I was looking at the different various ones you guys use. So if a customer is always going to be 2 cents off regardless of what they purchase, you would then tie them to this. But if they have specific products with different amounts, then you would set up a new pricing profile for them. So if you click the hyperlink to the local price profile ID, that'll take us to the maintenance section.
We'll set it up in there to it.
And then here is where you can set up the new pricing profile or modify one. So what this is saying is it's identical. I mean, other than the whole tax system, this is really just specifically for pricing and not taxes. Taxes will be done in the customer file and not in these screens. The same way throughout the system, there's only one place where we set up taxes. So in this case, what we're saying is regardless of where the customer site is, and you guys only have one site, so it's really irrelevant. If you did have multiple sites, we could have different pricing per site. When they purchase the product 4201, we're taking the pump price that's in the file and taking 281.28 cents roughly off of that pump price. And then for 4301, it'll be the 243 cents. So I'm not sure how that's what was in Origin, so I assume this is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and have you close this.
Can I ask you something first, please?
Absolutely.
Is this the section, let's just say this customer, if they did not get a discount on gas, but did on diesel, but still use the card for all products, is this where I would go just to give them the discount on diesel and not on gas?
Exactly. So in here, all you're giving them a discount for is these two products. If they don't get any discount, you don't need to even set them up with a profile. But if they do get a discount on one product only, you just put the product they have a discount for. Otherwise, it defaults to the pricing in the file.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Is that what you were asking?
Yes, ma'am. That's it.
Okay, awesome. So now let's go ahead and close this screen. And then, so you normally would set that up. So if you were setting up a new account, you would be in here. You would then you would just click that hyperlink. If one that's already set up does not work for them, you would just click that hyperlink and create a new one. And then select it in the drop-down selection. But a lot of this looks similar to what Origin had, because most of this was fed off of the Origin screen, because car fueling was actually, other than tank, was one of the first i21, like one of the first modules done in i21, just because we had so many, and then we bought at a company that uses primarily car fueling, so this is one of those that's highly used by a lot of customers. You see here, driver. I think that's really it. I wanted to talk about that. So we're going to go ahead and close this screen. Stop me anytime, just like you did if you have a question, because I don't think it's valuable to go through every single option, because some of those you don't need, and if it's something that's taken you a long time, those are the things I really want you to kind of bring up, so that way we kind of address those, because we want to make it efficient. Let's go ahead and close this, and let's get back to the Transactions tab. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start the whole import process. So go ahead and click Import for me. And then I want you to change the posted date, so that's the general ledger date. And you just want, in your case, you guys always do the end of month, so you just change both of those dates. And change it to June 30. And then say OK. There we go. So now you leave that alone because you guys are a non-network. And then select your Site 40. Now, I do notice that once you start using Site 40, it does remember it. So since you haven't imported yet, this is the first time. So next time you go in, it'll remember that. So let's go ahead and click Browse. And then hopefully you have access to the P drive to pick up that file again for me. It may be in the archive.
Wrong one.
I think it's yeah. And go to the ARC, and it should be that second one. There we go. And then go ahead and click Open, and then Import.
Open?
There's not an open.
Oh, sorry.
Just import.
It was in the other. It was in the Browse. So now this right here does take a few minutes to load. So while this is importing, you said it was Lisa that had a question. So, and it won't let us go anywhere else unless we had another session. Then we can go to that tab. But this is pretty much just going to keep running until until it's complete. There's 380 records. So what I would suggest is just like have another session open if you are not wanting to wait. The only way I knew it was running was because I can see it in SQL to make sure the transactions are there. And plus, I've done it, I think, my 4th time now. So,
Okay.
you know, it's like part of that whole. Go ahead. So you guys asked me do you have any other questions about anything else?
Yeah, I've sent Lisa a message to come in. She was in test company yesterday and was experimenting. And when they she would, I think I'm saying this right, she would make a sales order for delivery to take place. And, say for 2,000 gallons, but this may be her, she can explain it better.
Okay.
Here we go. Hey, it's Lisa Cloninger.
Hello.
You want to
Hello.
sit here or drive? You want to sit here and drive, Lisa? We're going to let Lisa drive.
Oh, my goodness. I'm a reckless driver on
She
this
has
new
her
system.
She's been at that.
As
Y'all
long as
might
you're not
relate
drinking
from
and
that
texting
to
while
that.
driving.
We don't do that at work before 12.
Yeah. All right. So, I've been practicing on some invoices, creating invoices. And typically when I do an invoice in the old system, it's mainly for my packaged products like drums and pails. I'm in the lubes
Okay.
division. And when we do bulk orders, which the gallons will change, I might put it in for 1,000 gallons, but then when it comes back in, they delivered 1,200 or something different than what I entered.
Okay.
So I was trying to go in through sales order, create sales order
Yep.
to do that. So
Okay. So,
when it creates a sales order, it gives me a SO number, and then I realized I could go up to the top where it's got the tab that says invoice, and it would
Yeah.
create an invoice from that sales order.
correct.
Okay, how do I get rid of the sales order? Do I have to manually go in and delete it, or?
Nope. It just moves into a
Because
different status. It just
it
says that,
still
you know what,
comes up,
this,
though.
go, right, it always will, but the status
Okay.
will always be, it'll be like completed. So go ahead and put a sales order for me.
Do you want me to just go to one that I've already got in there?
Oh,
Is that-
absolutely, yeah, that works. Yeah, we'll just filter for it.
And I
So
noticed it
you'll-
has status of partially closed or,
Yep.
Okay, so, they ordered 1,020 gallons and we
Mhm.
shipped 1,015.
Okay.
And so I don't go up there and delete it, I leave it.
No, you leave it alone.
Okay.
So are you going to deliver the remaining 5 at some point, or are you done with this?
I'm done with it. So
Okay,
do I change
so when
the
that,
status? Okay.
yep, go ahead and click the status for me. What options do we have there? So here what
Okay.
you would do is say short closed.
Short closed, okay. I wouldn't say just, let me go back.
Or you can just, there you go, now it looks like it's done.
Okay, I did
So
it.
there's not a save option, you did it. So then
Okay,
now
and then
it's-
you take away my delete option, I don't even have a delete option now.
Right.
Okay,
Right. The
All right,
reason
I was
why is
thinking-
I-21 has a lot of connection and integrity. So like if you go to the invoice you created, I'll show you how it knows that it came from this SO record. So close this and let's go to the invoice.
what's that invoice? Was that AVM? I can't even remember now.
It was. Mhm.
Um,
I see it at the bottom. That looks. Oh, never mind.
Oh, yeah,
5412. Is that it, or is it the 5412?
I don't know. Let me see.
Okay, we'll try both.
Oh, that's not
not
it.
Yeah.
And then I always get into a mess.
Uncheck the one you got checked there,
Okay.
because it'll come up first, okay? You scroll down.
It may be that 5412, the SI 5412.
Okay. It probably is. I'm not used to Jimmy's mouse here. It's kind of scooting.
keeps up.
Oh, there it is, okay. Oh, wrong thing, I always want to click on that, and I know I need to.
I do too. I do too. We've got just so many hyperlinks. It's hard to it just
And then I
gets you.
can't. I'll say, well, bring up my invoice. It took me a while to figure that one out.
So there's
Okay.
10:15.
All right, so
So
it tells
in
me
this case, yeah, if you scroll over to the right side, I want to see some of the records have must not. I was thinking it gives a reference of that SO record. I must be thinking about another process that tells you this is from SO. Click the instructions tab for me.
No, that's accurate. I'm sorry, I missed that. Click on what?
Oh, instructions tab.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask a question about that.
So what this is it's your header comment that you guys use, but you're limited to space because your invoices are small, like in that little tiny space. So you might want to make sure that you can type as many as you want here, but they won't all print. I was thinking it was in here. But what I was trying to say is, let's say that you were to delete this invoice and we didn't touch the sales order, like it was still partial. When you delete this invoice, it'll move the sales order back to an open so you can reorder it again. So if we allow you to delete this after you did this, first of all, they wouldn't let you, unless I'm going to have you try it. Click delete for me. And say yes. I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen to the sales order because we had closed it. So go back to the sales order screen.
That was the appointment.
So since we deleted it, it's gone. So go ahead and say okay to that, but then go to the sales order.
Order, okay.
Now open that one.
How about that?
So you see how it reopens the record? So it looks like even if we short closed it, if you delete the invoice, it adjusts the order back to the way that it was. So now you can re-invoice it again. So they're all just so connected that if we were allow you to delete the sales order after you finish the invoice, then it wouldn't know what to do with the order. So.
Okay. But I just leave, even though I deleted the order, I just still leave this as is. I don't.
Right. The status just changes to whatever status. If you were to ship the full amount, this would have been closed. And then since you only ship part of it, it would be partial.
Okay. Going back to instructions, the headers and the footers, this is changing the subject a little bit.
You're okay.
The header shows up on the invoice under comments. But does the footer show up anywhere?
It does not, because your invoice does not have a footer.
Okay. It had the option, so if you type something, it won't show up anywhere. Okay.
Right. So we had a generic invoice, but it wasn't formatted to how you guys' invoice was. So we couldn't, like a lot of these fields you won't even use because your invoice, you can use it, but it won't print. So you could have a footer, but just it won't go anywhere. Now you can add a comment. So if you're trying to put a comment in just for the sake of having it, in Origin, did you guys use comments a lot?
I use comments a lot.
But do you use the item comments?
Not item comments. I just used invoice comments.
Okay. So in I21, a comment is an item code. So that way you can pre-select item without having to keep typing it every time. So we didn't talk about this, but if you were to, we're going to go ahead and have you do it while we're here. Minimize this screen for me, because we'll just go back to this.
Okay, where am I going? Let's see.
You are going to minimize sales order because we're going to go to inventory.
We've got the
Never
screen enlarged,
mind.
so I've got it.
I enlarged instead of.
Yeah.
There we go. So go to inventory menu.
Let's see.
On the left side. It's a whole new it's a whole new menu. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
two of,
dark.
She's got a different
There we go.
screen.
Okay.
and then go to items. So if you didn't need to put like a footer, the only reason I'm showing this is if you needed to put a footer, quote unquote, you can use an item comment. And if you tend to use the same comment every time, go ahead and click new in here for me.
Top left. Oh, no, shoot.
Oh.
Oh, there it is right there. Press the look, just listen to it. Right.
Oh, right, I'm on it, but I didn't even see it. It's hard to see it when
When you're looking at
When you're
everywhere else.
when you're watching and try to find it.
So let's say it's, I don't know, let's just call it a delivery comment. So in here, just put, I don't know, because the item number will print on the invoice. So maybe you just want to put COM for item number. And this has,
Just type something. Anything you normally would type for a comment.
okay. So in here, in the description, both item number and description will be your comment. So what it will be on the invoice is item number ship FedEx, description will be ship whatever you type in here. So if you don't want to have anything in the description, you still got to type something in there. So let's just say, I don't know, put a period.
And under the
Just so it's,
Yeah.
just because it has to have something, and then change your item type to comment.
Item type.
Change
see
that
where
to
it's
comment.
It has a drop down box. Go back up. Right back and come down one line
Okay.
and go over to the down
Okay,
arrow.
there. Okay.
Item comment.
Go down a little bit.
I'm not doing too good here.
Just comment. You're good. Other.
You're fine.
All right, where
You
am
might,
Pull down. Pull down on the side. On this side, pull down your arrow. No, come on over. Jimmy,
Wait a
hit
minute,
first.
I see. Wait a minute, I got
Yeah,
it.
okay.
Okay.
Just gotta get used to it.
Yeah. Come over to the
Right there.
So let me get back on there. Let's see. There. There.
there we
Okay.
Click on that.
go. Yep. So then save this. So when you want to use this specific comment, you, instead of typing in, like I think in Origin we put an asterisk, we're actually letting you pre-create your comment so that way you can have as many as you need to. But you can still modify the description when you create it. So close this, and then close the search items grid. Yep. And go to the sales order, AVM Industries, that tab up at the top. Reopen that for me. There we go. And then go down to the item number on the second row and type in your new comment you just created, which is type in ship. It should start finding it. And then enter. There we go. So in here, when it prints on the invoice, it'll print shift fed with a period. But you could change the description on any comments at any time.
Okay.
So now that's how I would do like a footer, so it will print on your invoice.
Okay. All right.
Now, this is on an order, and it'll print on the order, but when you invoice it, that comment doesn't go to the invoice. Only the products will go to the invoice. So just FYI.
Okay.
But you can go to the invoice and add the comment too. So.
All right.
All right. Was that your only question as far as the move from the sales order to the invoice?
That was the main one, but I thought of another one. And you might have gone over this in the session I was in, but I just want to be clear on that. When entering an invoice, over here on my customer side, that's actually going to be who it bills to, my bill to customer, just like I have a customer. Okay. I can't put who it's going to there. That has to go in the ship to column.
Correct.
Whatever I put in the customer automatically fills over to the bill to and ship to, but I can change the ship to.
You can change the bill to and the ship to if you want to on the right side, but they should default from how the customer is set up.
Okay. All right. I'll have more questions. Those will get me going until I hit another snag.
Okay. No problem.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Jimmy, we'll keep this session open in case we need to go back and forth. So go ahead and go back to let's go back to the second tab for me.
All right.
Good. That's a good question. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I like multitasking.
Yeah, we do that a lot around here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and say okay.
Okay.
And then maximize this screen. Here's our wonderful vehicle error. So you're going to see a ton of them. So hopefully when we go live, we won't. But again, this is just, you don't have to worry. Although if we didn't set this up, I'm going to show you why you want to do this. But you guys already did it, but I'm going to show you why. Go ahead and close this screen for me. Or close yeah, there you go. So all of those transactions are now in the unposted transactions. Go ahead and click the invalid transaction because a lot of those errors should be in that tab. And then it'll tell you what the errors are. So go over to the right side. Eventually it'll tell us what our and it gives, there you go. So if there was anything else, then you would see what the errors are here. Kind of like I think in Origin we had an edit list, but then it was during the import it tells us what the error is, I think. No, it's on the transactions edit list. It tells us if the customer doesn't exist or the card doesn't exist. So this is where you would get those error messages. So if there's nothing in the invalid transaction tab, then you're good to go ahead and do the batch posting, assuming your totals are correct. So this recalc process for vehicle orders only, it will remove those because we're saying, you know what, we understand. You may not want to set it up. That's fine, but we're going to make you recalc it to remove it from the invalid transaction. So go ahead and go back to the unposted transactions tab because that's where the processes are for the other. I want you to do batch recalculate. And since a lot of your errors are vehicles, I'm not going to have you filter out site customer, but you could recalculate by just the customer or a certain transaction date. But if you have those many errors and you know it's just vehicle, you might as well leave it all blank. So go ahead and click recalculate for me. And here comes another waiting game because it's going to recalc all 381 records. And it'll tell you when it's complete at the bottom. Well, it just says recalculated 381.
Oh, I see.
So basically, we saw all the errors. We know they're vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
If we're okay with that, when we recalculate, it's including those that were errors, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Correct. So now, if let's just say there's Since there's so many errors out there, let's just say there's one that's not a vehicle error. It was like the card isn't found. It will not remove that one. It'll make you go fix it, and then you recalculate just that record.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Thank you for that. That's a good.
I love this already. I do.
And then once it's, since it's going to be in the invalid transaction tab by itself, let's just say that one record, what will happen is it'll show one, and you can open that record, and then you can see what's wrong with it, and then we can recalculate right on the screen. I think Origin had the same function, and then you can just go from there. So this might take a few minutes, so we'll just watch it. Let me see what's in my PowerPoint that I didn't send you because I'm terrible.
Haven't sent it yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Once we get it eventually, yeah.
Let's see here, vehicles. This by error, we talked about that. Fix errors. Profile. Okay. No, I didn't miss anything. We talked about it. So this might take... Well, let's go back to the other tab while we're waiting. Let me see if there's anything on the card fueling. And then let's go to the card fueling menu.
Let me get your file number too.
So some of these activities, Jimmy, you may want to remove, like you guys don't really use quotes. And then like that encode card usage alert. So you'll have to just remove some of them because I'm sure that you guys embose cards. And then you don't use the network, so you don't really have that.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So with the CarLock customers, we invoice them once per month. Is there an option in AR to flag just the K customers, so we can have a quick glance at when they're past due?
When you're saying K customers, which are those
the
the
card-
CarLock
card-
customers?
Activity or code.
Yeah. The customer
Is that
code.
Oh, you mean it's an account status code, right?
Yeah.
Account status code.
Okay, so let's go to, while we're in here, let's go to sales and go to the customer file. And then find a customer for me that you're referring to.
Okay.
And that would be under the maintenance.
Let's go to customers.
Mhm. And then let's find a customer.
Elton and Boring. They were a little behind.
Aw.
They're in here twice. It's one a card lock and one a.
Do the app. I think the Aberdeen is the one Tina. Yes. I see.
I'm just confirming that their account status code is set correctly. So go to the customer tab. And there is an account status code. So they are set to industries and K for card lock. Okay. So what you're asking me, Jimmy, is how can you tell just on account status code alone if anybody's past due? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and minimize this. And then minimize the search customer screen. And go to the customer aging report on the right side. So let's do the detail, for example. Well, let's do that one first. Let's make sure account status code is in here. So you might have to make the filter section a little bit bigger. So like the actual, like the filter. You see where there's a little tiny arrow?
Oh,
Right
it's in the middle.
There you go. if you there you go, drag it down,
There you go.
just so I can see some of the filters. So there is an account status code in here. And let's go ahead and click in the from column.
Okay.
Go to there you go. Select, click in there and see if K is available.
Yes.
There you go. So now what this is doing is, unlike Origin, when you fill their first account status code ends up being their final account status code. Do you guys remember that? Because that's how we drive all of the other sales analysis. In I21, that account status code does not hit any history in sales. So if you go in the customer file, and let's say you forgot to set the account status code for that customer, but they should have been in K, if you go in the customer and add the K in there, they'll be part of the sales, like it'll be a reporting mechanism that they'll be part of it. So it doesn't care if it was posted with a K or not, as long as they're set up that way. So let's go ahead and click generate. I don't know how many records. We won't have any yet because we don't have a card lock, but we'll see anyways. Go ahead and generate for me. And if it doesn't bring anything, that's okay. But what this is going to do, though, is show you, based off of due date aging, if they're past due. So if they're 30 days, if it's net 30, the first, you'll see that they'll be in the current if it's still within 30 days, and then the moment they get past that 30 days, it'll be 1 to 10 days, and then whatever else. But it is based on due date. So to answer your question is, I would go to customer aging report, run it for the K customers, and then that'll tell you who's past due. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. And then right below it...
Unless we're importing card lock on a daily basis, we're not going to know by the time it's going to be, if you run a statement on June 30th and they haven't paid, unless we know to look at them, it's not going to pick up anything until July 31st, and they're already going to be, we may just have to do some different way of monitoring. Yeah, we'll just have to work that out internally, Conception, just to make sure we can help keep a better eye on some of the customers. It's easy when they're buying a lot of diesel fuel and they have several vehicles, and then they run up an account, and we don't notice it until after it's imported, and it may not be recognized as past due until the second month.
Right. So when is what is their term?
What kind of reports do we have in card fuel? Of course, we still have to import.
That's what I think might have to change. Is
we may have to import every day
frequently, and that would help right there.
Yeah.
And you were asking a question?
Yeah. What should their terms be? So let's say they're going throughout the rest of the month, so they go to the pump on June 1st. You're not going to import their file till June 30th. You're not sending them the invoice until July 1st, dated June 30th. How do they know they owe it? Like, at what point do they know they need to pay you?
When we send them the statement at the end of the month.
Okay, so then and then on that statement, when is that due? So the ones that you just mailed out for June 30, when do they?
Depends on the terms, doesn't it?
I don't think it says in the statement. It's due at the time of statement. Well, you know, if it's a June 30th invoice and they got fuel on the 28th, that particular receipt isn't due until the next 28th. So yeah, it's really only a statement. But you know, if they don't receive
notification.
More frequent notification. Most companies are only going to pay by the statement, and most do, but the ones that don't, we're just trying to think of a better way. But I think importing weekly might be a little bit better process. Well, at least we can see if they're past due and know when to cut them off in the middle of the month if we need to. That would help us out there. That helps.
We may have to look at everybody's terms on that too to see.
They're all 30 days.
They're all 30 days. Should it say date, 30 days from the date of invoice or 30 days from the date of?
It's always date of invoice.
Okay,
Yeah,
so if we do it by week, we can.
applications
yeah,
are, yeah.
should do that. Okay.
All right.
Then you'll
Thank
catch
you.
them much faster. Okay. You don't,
Most
and you know what,
certainly.
if you, but there's probably nothing on the report, but let's just keep that running. Let's go back to the other screen. I'll have to take a look why that's taken a while, because that's unusual, especially if you don't have a lot of records out there. So this right here says recalculated 381 transactions. So let's go ahead and close this. And now let's go to the invalid transaction tab.
Huh?
And then, see, there's no more records, so they were all vehicle errors. So this is the fun part where I got stuck. So let's go ahead and click batch posting for me. And this is, oh, sorry, go to, I don't know why it didn't run for me earlier too. I think you had to refresh it. But let's go there and then go to, and then try batch posting again. Huh, okay. So go to unposted transaction. I wrote that down. Go to unposted transaction and then click batch posting from here.
Oops, I'm sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. No.
That's okay, because that tells me invalid. Okay, that's me. I posted one record earlier. We're going to go with it and say yes.
Mhm.
So this is the same screen as all the other batch posting screen, but it's specific to car fueling only, hence the CFDT2287. Normally, I will have you do select all, so we're going to experience this together. Go ahead and click select all for me.
Okay.
And then go ahead and click post. So it's going to tell us nothing is going to post unless it miraculously fixed itself, and I don't know which record threw me my error earlier. So that was invalid transaction, batch posting would not load. So it posted nothing. So now here is where I would, if you have this many transactions, kind of like the voucher grid or the batch posting when you imported from origin, you can select, what we suggested is select a few and then post. So I got to the point where, okay, I'm not sure which record is wrong. So go ahead and close this screen for me. After I create a screenshot, got that. So what I had to do, so that way you're not waiting for one of us, for example, like if this is on a Friday afternoon, we're not here, you're like, I gotta get through this. So I have to select like a few at a time to figure out which one has the error. So just go ahead and select however many. Unfortunately, this is the only way that I know. So I have a feeling it's a general ledger account number, but I can't figure out which item it is. And then go ahead and click post, and let's see if this will let us through.
That'd be another reason to do what we need.
That's right. Nothing, no.
No? Now close this. Try just selecting the first two, and then post. I was hoping you guys wouldn't have to experience this, but I ran out of time.
Look.
So it's just somewhere in our series, so it might be, so it's like a needle in a haystack at this point. So do we want to keep going together, try to figure out which one it is, or do we want to stop it and maybe could keep
I think it's
going?
one of these supposed to do on original
Yeah,
list.
you click first 10 or 15,
Mhm.
to close that.
Is that right, Conception?
Yeah, absolutely.
See? Thank you, Conception. He looked at me like I was crazy.
Well, Not
Okay, do
completely
another,
crazy.
do 5. Okay. This is part of my back posting in purchases, so I knew that if it didn't give you an error, it was okay.
Ah. That's one of these.
It's one of those 5, or at least, yeah.
Because we did the first 2.
And I need to write that up, and it could be that it's already written up.
We'll close.
Just do one at a time. Each one of the 3. Not done.
Look, that would work.
Not that one. That's that one.
All right. So now you got to figure out, go ahead and click open. So let's click that record and then open it. Let's see what's wrong with this transaction. So this is the main, like what we know as maintain transaction or enter transactions. So if you had to enter it in manually, this is where you would go. It would be, you would click new and enter it in, or you modify this one and then recalculate it. So I'm trying to figure out if I can see something. Item number 601. Click the, I wonder if it's a GL account number. So click the item number hyperlink.
There.
Okay. We didn't
And
go there,
then,
though.
in the back, yeah, it's in the back, it looks like, in back of the
right
transaction
there.
screen.
Yeah.
But I think you have to close this in order to go to the back. It doesn't have a minimize option.
Oops.
It's out.
I don't have a minimize.
That's what she's
Yeah.
saying. You're gonna have to close out of this one.
This one. Close out of this.
That one. To look
Oh,
at this one.
So, click category for me. So now we're getting into like the setup. The category is a class, and then if we didn't have an item GL, like if there's a GL account required and it's not in the item, it'll fall to the category and see if it's in there. So in this case, inventory 1404, for that location, my guess is there's not a GL account number for inventory 1404 / whatever the location it was sold. So we have to go build that. For the sake of, so I'm going to have you do this with me. So go to you can keep this open. Go to the general ledger menu on the left side, and then go to build accounts under the setup section. And then filter for 1404 on the primary section where it says filter F3 in that box. Or you can do that too.
I'm not looking for it again.
1404.
Yep. And then select that one. And then I don't know what the profit center is for the consumption site. So just
That
for
is
the sake of going.
Yeah, that's the inventory site.
Yep. But I don't remember the location we used for the transaction. So do me a favor. We're going to make this fast. We don't have to do this in live, but go ahead and on the segment codes on the right side, go ahead and click select all. You won't want to do this in live just because then you have a lot of junk profit centers and accounts. Go ahead and click build for me. You would only need it for the location that actually has the product because it's going to create 156 accounts. So let's go ahead and commit. I'm taking a guess that it's this account because so far this is the only account that I've had to set up is inventory. So if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Minimize this screen in case we have to set up another one. And then close the category screen. The reason I had you go to category is go to this setup tab. And then you notice inventory is not in this list. So the hierarchy is go look at the item GL account. If it's not there, look at the category account. So then go ahead and close. And then we're going to try and post that record again.
Aha!
Aha.
Now, slate off right
So
there.
now, there's
They'll let you
probably
know.
another item. Uh-oh, did I lose you guys?
No,
No, we're here. See it?
Your screen's not sharing anymore.
Oh, no. Let me start it over.
Oh, there we go. I see it now.
Welcome back.
So now we can try and thank you. Now let's try post again and see how lucky we get.
Rolling the dice.
Yes, right.
Yep. Luckily, you only have 5 different products or 6 different products from Car Fueling. So really, we could have just gone and looked at all of those and just created accounts for them.
This is more exciting.
I'm just having you experience errors with me.
Well, see, that's it. We learn by our mistakes. Oh,
Wow.
look at there.
16
Wow.
sales.
Well, 16 errors. Now I don't know what those are. So go ahead and close this. Because then it'll refresh and tell us which one.
Those are there, yeah.
So now you got to open one and figure it out.
Open.
I guess that one didn't have a double click because I heard you double click.
No. Yeah, that's right.
So we
It's a
can
different
try and
product.
see if 701 doesn't have a valid Jill account number. Because right now I don't see anything on the screen telling me.
Oh, we should have looked at look at your location too, so we won't have to set up.
Oh, I bet I know what this is. Okay, close this for me. And I'll have to take a look at how to do this. You see how it's bringing up the bundle item? Uh-oh, I lost you again on the share screen.
Huh, I really do.
It's saying that, hey guys, I'm not liking this.
Oh, it went away. I don't have the share option.
Aw.
It said meeting
All right.
ended.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
there you go. That's weird.
So you see
Came
how
back.
this item type is bundle? So in Oregon,
Yeah.
we know that as physical item. So where you would sell a product, but then it would pull from a different product.
Mhm.
So this works a little bit differently. Go to the setup tab for me. So there's no Jill account numbers here. Go to the details. And then go to the category. And I may have to stop you guys here and then see where I'm missing, because I thought if it was a Jill account number, it would have failed with the rest of the other ones. So my guess is it's something different. Click Jill accounts.
Should be
1405. Well, let's go see if
1405.
we can. Yeah, if we can create that account. You can close this. We'll have to go to General Ledger.
There you go.
And then build. There you go. And if this doesn't work, what we'll do is we'll just call it, and then I'll research it and let you guys know. And then maybe tomorrow after the motor fuel tax session, we can do the car fueling invoicing piece.
Okay. And then do it.
I don't know why I keep losing you, but that's okay as long as you guys.
Okay. All right.
We did the build.
All right, you created the build, so now let's try and post that one record we opened to see if it would do anything. If it's
Wrong unit of, measure.
All right.
Unit of measurement is invalid or missing.
Oh, let's open that and let's see.
Can you see our screen again?
Now I can. It's
Okay.
kind of, let's see. To open this, and I know, I was thinking and then click the little, there you go, that'll open the item number on this line. So wrong unit of measure.
Gallon, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to set up, so close this for me. If we, and then keep closing, close. So 501, that says gallon, unit of measure is gallon. All right. I'll have to take a look because I'm not sure why it's not doing that. So leave this out there. So tomorrow after the motor fuel tax, do you guys want to go over, we'll go through the customer invoicing for the month-end piece for this?
Yes.
And then we'll try and, I'm only going to fix one error and post it. So that way, at least tomorrow, you know how to fix the other ones in the future. So let me research this first. And I keep losing you on Chime.
Ah, well.